Sentence completion.
With us today in the studio, we have Brad Andrews, one of the most famous names in dance music and club DJing of the moment. Brad, why are club DJs so popular these days?
DJing has changed an awful lot since the 70s. People used to go to discos and clubs to drink, talk, or pick each other up. Now they come for the music. So whether you have a good time or not depends very much on the skills of the DJ.
Do you really need that much skill to put on a few records?
It's not that simple. I often operate 3 turntables at once, sometimes using 1 or 2 CD players as well. A lot of DJs are talented musicians because you need a great deal of coordination to play with the records and use these huge decks we have nowadays. The job of DJing is mostly about mixing tracks, using several records at once to create a totally whole new sound. On one record, I might use just the high notes and sounds and combine that with the bass on another record. Then I'll bring in a third one with the bass and treble turned off and use it to mix in vocals or another drum. It's a complex business.
And from what I hear, a well-paid one too. Would you mind telling us how much you earn for a single gig?
There are probably about 3 or 4 DJs in the country earning up to £10,000 for a 3-hour gig. That much I can tell you. But you have to understand this is an extremely demanding job. People go to see their favourite DJs like fans go to see bands. Except top DJs play live gigs every weekend and not just 3 or 4 weeks in the year. Dedicated clubbers will often follow a DJ around the country or even the world. People come from Paris to London just to spend Saturday night in a club before going back on the train on Sunday morning.
Does a gig require much preparation?
You're dead right it does. I arrange and build a set at a club like I would do in a concert on stage, or if I was recording a single in the studio. You're basically composing a 3-hour piece of music. It's as if you're taking people on a journey and you want them to enjoy it. I also need to clear my mind before I get out there and do my stuff, so I use a form of meditation to get myself ready for a gig.
Looking ahead now, Brad, could you tell us what the future of dance music is? How do you think it will develop in the next few years?
Well, it's interesting to think that here we are at the beginning of the 21st century, still using the old-fashioned vinyl records on old-fashioned turntables to create sophisticated sounds. But obviously, computer programs can now be used to put together a dance track in the same way that I described earlier. And of course, much quicker. That could well be the way ahead for DJs. Another trend now is for established big-name bands to ask DJs to rearrange their music in order to attract a younger audience.
A bright future indeed, then. We'll take a break now, but don't go away. Brad's going to do a bit of live DJing for us here on Radio Perfect.
Sentence completion.
With us today in the studio, we have Brad Andrews, one of the most famous names in dance music and club DJing of the moment. Brad, why are club DJs so popular these days?
DJing has changed an awful lot since the 70s. People used to go to discos and clubs to drink, talk, or pick each other up. Now they come for the music. So whether you have a good time or not depends very much on the skills of the DJ.
Do you really need that much skill to put on a few records?